to the world in which people live. An illusion.
Sitting on a wall, one named Peter, the other named Paul. Fly away, Peter, fly away, Paul. Come back, Peter, come back, Paul. Fly away, Peter, fly away, Paul. Put your bike away, dear. That awful noise. Myra Hapgood, you little horror. What are you doing with that steak? It's all right, it'll taste all the richer. Oh, darling, not another. You really had to give up hockey. And give me that, it's for supper. Nothing like a black eye to make a steak nice and juicy. Don't be revolting, dear. Anyway, I've had my tea. Bread and butter and jam. Cherry cake, too. Jolly good. Now go and take your things off and go and wash. I washed at school. Do as you're told, dear. Oh, Mummy. Myra. Now clear away your books, dear. There's a good boy. The others will be home any minute.
Look out, Mother.
You are untidy, Ted. Just look what you're writing. I can't think why you're not kept in.
Do you seriously imagine any master would have the nerve to keep a prefect in?
Why not? Is there any difference between a prefect and an ordinary schoolboy?
Oh, no difference, of course. A prefect can't give an ordinary schoolboy 100 lines. He doesn't read the lessons at morning prayers. He doesn't have the responsibility of maintaining discipline at detention periods on Saturday mornings. Of course not. Third formers do little jobs like that, naturally.
My goodness, what sarcasm. Ted, stop tilting your chair.
Oh, Mother, you make me tired. No, but honestly, you do.
And you think you never make me tired?
Well, you make fun of me. Just as though growing older were a howling joke.
Of course it wouldn't be for a prefect, would it?
What a beaut.
Do you see my blasted protractor? Oh, here it is. Look, Ted, from any point O...
Shut up. Do your own rotten homework.
I can't.
Look out. Oh, I'm going upstairs. I can't get any ruddy peace down here.
I'm awfully pleased about the whole thing.
I only hope Mother will be.
She'll hate it. You better tell her at once.
I'll wait till Dad gets home.
No, tell her now.
I'll try, but I'm not looking forward to it. Of course, you know what Mother is.
Yes, I know. Ooh-hoo.
Phyllis, had a good day, dear.
Not too bad.
How are they all at the beauty parlor?
All right. Water hot, Mummy. I'd love a quick bath.
Before supper?
Oh, yes, it'll freshen me up.
Well, don't be long. Arthur? I didn't hear you come in.
Hello, Mother. I came in with Phyllis. What a face.
Had a good day, dear?
All right.
Oh, your hands. Is it cold out?
It's a bit chilly. It's rather foggy in town.
Oh, dear. I do hope it won't make Dad late.
What? No, I'm sure it won't. Mother.
Yes, dear? What is it?
Nothing. At least I'll tell you later.
What's the matter with Arthur?
You're all right, isn't he?
He's been so quiet lately. What a waste.
Expect he's in love.
In love with whom?
Ginger Rogers.
Oh.
Hello, Biddy, is that you?
Hello, hello.
Had a good day, dear?
Not bad. I'm not sure, my dear, but I think the kitchen's on fire.
The steak!
Hello, Dad.
Hello, darling. Oh, that silly clock stopped. Oh, perhaps I shouldn't have oiled it.
Suppose you want to sit here?
Well, if it doesn't put you out, Miss Hapgood.
That's all right.
Oh, I say, look at you.
I know. I got it at hockey this afternoon.
Bit careless of you to get your eye in the way of the ball, wasn't it?
It was that cad Brewster. She was supposed to mark me.
She made a very good job of it.
Dad, this problem is impossible. The wording's wrong. It must be.
I shouldn't be surprised.
I mean, how could you possibly prove it?
I don't know.
Dad, you have a go at it. You're jolly good at geometry.
Well,
Go on.
well, it's a lot... Ah, Arthur. You're good at geometry, aren't you? No. Aren't we a brainless lot?
Now, come along, you two. Eat it while it's hot. Mara, get on with your homework.
I can't. I've tried.
Where's Phil?
We're not waiting for her. She's in the bath. Her supper's in the oven.
Aren't you eating anything, Mary?
No, dear, I'm not hungry.
Dad, you're not going out tonight, are you?
No, why?
Well,
Somebody's got to do this perishing thing. Miss Rankin will be furious.
Miss Rankin? Was that the little fair, fluffy one who spoke to your mother and me on sports day?
Dad,
Yes?
I'm expecting a chap along tonight. He's coming... Oh, Lord, he's early.
What chap?
I don't know.
Oh, it's you, is it?
Yes.
It's only Pie-Face.
Is this the chap you were expecting, Arthur?
No, it's not. Oh, good evening, George.
Good evening, George, dear.
Good evening, Mrs. Hapgood. Good evening, Mr. Hapgood.
What's your pie face?
Hello, Myra. Oh, I say, good Lord. You know, a chap told me steak was a jolly good thing for a black eye.
I've tried it.
Steak? What steak?
You're all right. Arthur's got the bit I used. He's eaten half of it.
Ugh.
Oh, get on with it, Arthur. I cut out the bit she used. Aren't you going to take your coat off, George?
Oh, well, I wasn't going to stay, thank you. I haven't been home from the office yet. I just thought I'd call round and see whether Ted or anybody thought of going to the flicks tonight.
Who's anybody, Mother?
Oh, don't rot.
Oh, George.
Oh, I didn't mean I wouldn't take you, Mrs. Hapgood. Why, honestly, if you would like to go.
Oh, thank you, dear. I think that'd be very nice. But perhaps I'd better not. I've got some sewing to do.
Besides, her husband might not like it.
Yes, well, righto, then I'll go and ask Ted.
Unless, of course, Myra would do.
Oh, don't know whether I will or not. Who is it that's coming to see you tonight, Arthur?
Mind your own business. Look here, Pieface. For Pete's sake, take her to the flicks. When you get her there, throttle her and shove her under the seat. Oh, I'd love to.
What?
Oh, but not throttle her, I don't mean. If she'll come, you see.
And if she decides to go, George, see that she's in by 10 o'clock.
That means leaving in the middle of the big picture.
Well, we could stretch a point and make it 1:15.
That's no good.
Then you'll have to go and ask Ted, George.
Pie-face, you dare.
Well, I don't care either way, really.
Liar.
Well,
Call in at 7:15 or I'll bash your face in.
Is George any good at geometry?
He hasn't got much brain, have you, Pie-face?
not an awful lot.
No. Come on, then.
Is she a knockout? Dad, about that chap that's coming tonight. His name's John Nielsen. He's one of our directors. He's really coming to see you and Mother.
Good gracious, what about?
About that job I was talking about the other day. The one in Nigeria.
But you weren't serious about that.
I've got it.
It's sudden, isn't it?
I've tried to discuss it, but you wouldn't listen. You know I've always wanted to go abroad anyway. I suppose you hate me because I want to leave you. Well, that's true, isn't it?
I only want you to be happy, Arthur.
Nielsen? Wasn't he in some divorce case about a year ago?
Don't be so old-fashioned, Dad.
Yes, I remember the case. He was married to a film actress, Pauline somebody or other. Isn't he a foreigner? A Dane?
He's half Norwegian. His mother was English.
And he's coming here simply to put in a good word for you with me and your mother?
Yes, why not?
I should think that's all dried up by now. You've been ours.
Sorry, Mummy. Oh, I'm afraid it is.
Apparently, we have to entertain one of Arthur's directors tonight.
Mr. Nielsen?
Do you know him?
Oh, I met him for a moment at Arthur's staff dance.
Good looking?
Quite attractive.
It seems a strange way for the director of a shipping company to spend an evening.
Why? How do you think he ought to spend his evenings?
Supplying grounds for divorce, I should have said.
Hello, Dad.
Hello, dear. Water hot?
Lovely.
Good.
Oh, aren't you going to have any pudding, Arthur?
No, thank you.
Oh, do have a little bit.
No, thank you.
Oh, it'll do you good.
No, thank you.
So you told Phyllis about your job.
Yes.
A family should share its secrets.
I don't know what you mean by secrets, but Arthur and I are good friends, and so naturally...
Well, aren't we all friends? Did you think I wouldn't understand?
But you still treat us like children, Mother. I have to be in by 10 every night.
Do you realize that when I was your age, I wasn't allowed out after 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock, mind you.
So you met Dad secretly.
Well, that was our romance.
Then let Phil have her romance. That's only fair.
What romance? Phyllis?
There isn't one. Fathead.
I wouldn't mind if there were one, Phil, providing that you told Daddy and me about it.
Now, once and for all, Mother, there isn't. How on earth can I have a romance without a latchkey? It isn't humanly possible.
I'll take that out.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Would anyone care to help with the washing up? I hadn't much hope.
Mother was difficult, I suppose.
Awful.
I know. Mother's like an internal itch that you can't get at to scratch.
Doesn't it irritate you the way she asks the same fool questions every day? Did you have a good day? Did you get a good seat in the train?
I haven't reached that stage yet. Don't you think you're letting yourself get a bit morbid about it?
Probably. In fact, I know I am.
Sounds like quite a good job for Arthur. It's just what he needs to make a man of him.
What do you mean?
Well, Arthur's 24. This sort of life probably seems pretty humdrum to him.
Humdrum? He's got a nice home and a good job.
Yes, but I expect he wants adventure, excitement. There's not much excitement being a junior clerk in a shipping office or in any other office. I remember when I was Arthur's age, I hated my job. I wanted to throw it up and I didn't know what I wanted.
Nonsense, Billy. You were only a year older than Arthur when you married me.
Yes. They're growing up, Mary. They're not children any longer. It won't be long now before they all want to lead their own lives. We'll be left alone.
Alone?
It may sound funny, but much as I love them, I should be glad to be alone again with you.
Oh, that won't happen for some time yet.
Perhaps not.
Mom! Dad!
I say, there's a perfectly beautiful car stopping outside. Looks as though the man's coming here.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Oh, give me a hand, Arthur, please.
He is coming here. It's your friend, Arthur.
Come on, Arthur, lift this up.
Come away from the window, Myra.
Don't you think one of you had better open the door?
I will.
Ted's going.
Oh, let me get out with this first. Just a moment, Ted.
Good evening. My name's Nielsen.
Billy.
Oh, thank you.
That's a super kind of car. We're all in here. Excuse the smell of onions.
Hello, Mr. Nielsen. Good of you to come.
Not at all.
Mother, this is Mr. Nielsen. Mr. Nielsen, my mother.
How do you do, Mr. Nielsen?
My father,
I'm pleased to meet you.
I'm pleased to meet you, sir.
my brother Ted,
Hello.
We've already introduced ourselves.
my sister...
Myra, how do you do, Mr. Nielsen? Fine, thanks. I got my black eye at hockey.
Oh, good.
What did you say?
Well, the fact is, I once sympathized with a man for having his nose broken, and he said he hadn't.
Oh, this is real enough. It was a terrific conk.
Won't you sit down, Mr. Nielsen?
Thank you. It's cold tonight.
Is it?
Dad, what about having these kids outside?
Who's a kid?
Why?
Don't be unkind, Arthur. This is the only warm room in the house this evening. And sit up, Ted. Don't sprawl.
You know, this is fun. I don't think I've ever seen an entire family together before.
And have you no family, Mr. Nielsen?
Unfortunately, no. I'm an only child.
It looks as if we won't be complete ourselves much longer. Arthur tells us that you want him to go out east.
The place is West Africa, my dear. Hardly out east.
Go on, you going abroad?
Shall we discuss it later when the kids have gone?
Where am I supposed to be going?
Or can't you go to the pictures with George and Myra?
Use your intelligence, laddie.
Haven't said I was going yet, anyway.
Oh, Mother, she ought to go. She told George that
Told him I might go.
Well, you can't let him down.
Who's letting him down? I'm training him, and it's nothing to do with you anyway, silly ass.
Silly ass yourself.
Big ears.
Now, you little...
That's right, Myra.
Now, look here, I'm older than you, and I tell you... When I tell you to go, I can. Now, ask Mr. Nielsen.
Children. The entire family together, Mr. Nielsen.
You don't know how lucky you are, sir.
Darling, if you're going to the cinema, you'd better go and get ready.
I can't till I've done my geometry.
Oh, do you do geometry?
Yes.
Yes, do you?
Well, I was rather good at it at school.
Do you do French?
Shut up. I say, you couldn't have a go at an impossible problem, could you?
Now, Myra.
Mummy, can't he do my geometry?
May I, Mrs. Hapgood?
Certainly you may. I'll go and fetch it. Oh, sorry.
What are you doing, Myra?
Oh, Mr. Nielsen, this is Phyllis, my other sister.
How do you do, Miss Hapgood? We've met before.
Have we?
Yes, the office does.
Oh, yes, of course.
Here you are, Mr. Nielsen.
Oh, yes. Well, let's sit down, shall we?
Yes.
Oh, thanks. It's our old friend Pythagoras.
Oh, yes. It's a very simple little thing. I'll do it for her later.
Do be quiet, Dad. Go on, Mr. Nielsen.
Well, let's join OA, OB, and OC. Now, OA squared equals OR squared plus AR squared. Pythagoras, correct?
Yes? Oh, that'll be pie face. Let him in, will you, Ted? Go on, Mr. Nielsen.
Well, in the same way, OA squared equals OP squared plus AP squared.
I see.
In the same way, OP
Is Myra
squared
ready?
equals
You'd
OQ
better ask her.
And OQ squared plus QC squared equals OR squared plus RC squared. Now, let's have a look. I've got 3 equations. Right. I'm going to add all the left-hand sides together, and then all the right. Here you are. There's an AQ on both sides, so out they go. And an OP squared and an OR squared. So out they go. Leaving AP squared plus BQ squared plus RC squared
The 1 9 pennies will be full.
equals AR squared plus PB squared plus QC squared. QED.
Quite easily done. This will put the kibosh on old Rankin. She won't get over it for a month at least. You'd better get a move on with that or you'll be late for the theatre.
When your mother stops fiddling about upstairs, we can go.
Dear brother, aren't you rather sad leaving your little sister all alone on your last night but one?
Heartbroken.
Hey, don't jog. I see, what time is it?
7:15.
Oh, you better call your mother.
Mother, it's time we left.
Can I have a crack at that while you're out?
You cannot. I don't want anyone to touch it. I think I fixed it this time.
Want to bet on it, Dad? I'm quite ready, dear. Oh, don't say you've been fiddling with that clock again.
Yes.
Now, Myra, dear, don't stay up too late. When Ted comes in, tell him there's some soup on the stove for him to heat up.
Righto, Mummy.
Good night, dear.
Good night.
Don't wait up for Phyllis. She's got a key.
No, I'll be all right. I should probably cry myself to sleep with the thought of dear Arthur going away the day after tomorrow.
Oh, Myra.
Good night, Daddy. Enjoy yourself. Arthur!
Night, chump.
Good night.
thought I'd come and cheer you up.
How?
Oh, I thought we might have some music. You see, look, I brought some duets round.
Told you I couldn't see you tonight. Anyway, you can't come in. We've no chaperone.
What do you want a chaperone for?
To protect me, of course.
Who from?
Dirty dogs like you.
Oh, good Lord. Why, you don't think I'd... Oh, I wouldn't, no.
Oh, anyway, you can't come in. There'd be a row if Mother found out. Silly, but there it is.
I'd better go.
Hey, no, wait a bit. You better come in. You're looking cold out there.
But what about this Mr. What's the name?
Chaperone? I'll put you on your honor. Will you swear to behave properly and treat me with all due respect?
There's no need for me to swear. I wouldn't think of... Don't you trust me, Myra?
I'd like you to swear just the same.
I swear.
Right. Now, for heaven's sake, come in. What music have you brought?
All of it.
Here we are. You like it?
It's just as I thought it would be, John.
Make yourself at home, darling. Take your coat off.
I will in a minute.
I'll get you a drink.
Been longing to see where you live and how you live.
Have you? Turn on the radio. It has some music.
How's it go on?
It's the one in the middle. Just turn it to the right.
Oh, it's been a lovely evening, John. It's always fun being with you, but tonight's been special. That dinner was heavenly. And no washing up to do. Champagne?
For special occasions.
To you, John.
To us, Phil. Let me take your coat.
This is wonderful.
Because of the music?
Because of this evening. Because of our meeting in the first place. And just because. We do get on well together, don't we, John?
It's time I took you home, young lady.
Tonight. You're terrible.
I know. I can't concentrate. I think I'll have a cigarette. Oh, would you like one?
Oh, yes. Are they Virginian? I like Turkish myself, still. Ooh, what do people smoke for?
It soothes their nerves.
Doesn't seem to make any difference to mine.
Perhaps they don't need soothing.
Do yours?
Sometimes.
Go on.
Well, a chap gets worried sometimes.
Have you been getting your sums wrong at the office?
No, of course not.
Well, snap out of it. Can't be anything very important. You haven't got enough responsibilities for that.
Well, that's just it, you see. Sometimes a chap wants responsibilities.
What are you talking about?
Do you want me to tell you?
Going to put this thing out. Do you mind?
Oh, no, no. Give it to me.
What on earth did you do that for?
Shall I tell you?
They can't be back already. What's the time? Listen.
Take your coat off, John.
I'm not going to stay.
Phyllis. Wonder who she's got with her. Shh.
The family won't be back for hours, and Myra's asleep. Come on, relax.
Oh, all right.
Myra!
Mr. Nielsen.
Hello.
What have you you two been doing?
Oh, we had dinner and danced a bit.
Does Mummy know?
Listen, Myra, and you too, Pieface. Mr. Nielsen, hasn't been here tonight. You haven't seen him at all.
Yes, but he's there. He's...
Ass. That's okay by us.
Cut your throat?
Cut my throat.
Good. What have you two been doing?
We've been messing about, sort of playing duets on the piano.
Aren't you going to play any more?
Yes, why don't you?
Well, we'd sort of finished.
We could play four-handed bezique, Mr. Nielsen.
No. You two go and get on with your duets.
I asked Mr. Nielsen.
I think perhaps a little music.
Come on, Pieface. Keep your elbows in.
Phil, I must go.
Oh, must you?
Well, no, I don't have to. It's just that I'm going, Phil, that's all. I'm not going to see you again. What on earth?
Just the music we provide for our guests. John, what is the matter?
Well, I've told you. I'm not seeing you again, Phil. Ever.
Oh, I see. Well, if that's the way you feel about it. Goodbye, and thank you for everything.
No, look, this isn't good enough. There's something you've got to know, Phil, and, well, it's not going to be easy to tell you.
Would a drink help? There's no champagne.
Sit down, please, Phil, won't you? When I first met you at that office dance, I wanted to get to know you. I thought we might have fun. And then, when I heard that your brother wanted to go abroad, well, I saw my opportunity.
How clever.
No, not really. Ever since then, and this is the part which is so hard to tell you, I've only had one idea in the back of my mind, and that's been to get you alone in my flat.
Well, what went wrong?
Well, I suddenly stopped thinking of myself and saw you for the first time as you really are. You believed in the sort of person that I was pretending to be. Well, let me try and put it another way.
I think you'd better.
You see, for years, I've been used to the sort of insincerity that goes with having a lot of money. But you're not like that, Phil. You're real. You couldn't be anything else because you live among real people. The Hapgoods and their homes are far more important in this world than people like me. I've learned a lot from you, Phil. Trust and comradeship. And it's been very warming. That's why I must go.
Goodbye, John.
Goodbye, Phil.
Idiot. Myra, what do you think you're doing?
Doing up my shoe?
John and I are going.
Where to?
We're going skating on Serpentine.
They haven't taken their skates with them.
If something isn't hotting up for something, my name isn't Myra Hapgood. Isn't Mr. Nielsen beautiful? He smells so nice. Pieface, why don't you brush that quiff thing down and keep your mouth shut when you're not speaking?
I will if you want me to.
Oh, you make me tired. You always agree with me. Why can't you be a bit more exciting? Look at you, standing there as though you couldn't say boo to a goose.
I've never wanted to say boo to a goose.
Oh, bother it. I'm sorry, Pieface. You're all right. Gosh, I'm a beast.
No, you're not. You aren't a beast at all, Myra.
Yes, I am. You're not so bad, really.
Well, look, I reckon you're an absolute knockout, you see. I reckon you're jolly pretty.
You shouldn't talk to me like that without a chaperone in the house.
Oh, blast the chaperone. I'm going to kiss you. May I, please?
There, that's you all over. Don't ask me, you fool. Do it. Oh, my nose. George Harris, I'll never speak to you again.
Oh, yes, you will.
Well.
I'm sorry, then.
Now you can just go home.
Oh, but look, I won't do it again, I promise.
I'll think the matter over.
Good evening.
Pie face!
Did you want me?
You lunatic.
You meant that, didn't you?
What?
You are sorry, aren't you?
Oh, yes. Yes, I am.
Well,
Oh, crikey.
Well, off you go. Shoot. Go on.
Getting on all right, Arthur?
Not very well, I'm afraid.
Oh, shall I give you a hand?
Will you, Dad? I am in a bit of a mess.
Yes, you are. Well, we'd better start afresh. Now, you hand me the things and I'll put them in. Start with the heavy ones. Shoes. At least you've wrapped them up.
It was rather awful at the theatre last night, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't think any of us enjoyed it much.
Dad, you don't think I'm wrong to go away, do you?
No, I don't. But it might have eased the situation if you hadn't sprung it quite so suddenly. You and I might have got in a bit of judicious propaganda. With your mother, I mean.
I should have told you more, perhaps.
Oh, you can make it up by writing often to her. Write to her, not to me. I shall read them anyway.
I will. I'll send one or two to you. I'll send them to your office.
You will? The short ones will do. I'd rather like to show them to one or two of the fellows at the place where I go for lunch.
Dad, you do understand why I'm going, don't you?
Of course. Years ago, I wanted to go to Rhodesia.
You did?
Yes. But, well, then I met your mother and she did me the honor of marrying me.
Weren't you sorry that you didn't go?
No. We've had a good time in this house, all of us. Still, it would have been fun to have seen a coconut growing on its own tree. I suppose I ought to give you a general lecture, like old Polonius. Silly things, lectures. But I've often thought that although Polonius was a tedious old fool, he did sum things up rather neatly. I mean, that idea about being true to yourself. Ah, Mary.
here are some more socks for you, dear. I've still got to darn these. Oh, I don't know how you managed to get so many holes. Your toenails want cutting. Well, I wonder who'll be doing this for you for the next 2 years.
He'll have to learn to darn them himself, I expect.
You'll think of us sometimes, won't you, dear?
Well, of course, Mum.
We shall be thinking of you. Tomorrow, Where will you be this time tomorrow?
Somewhere in the middle of the Irish Sea, I suppose.
Who can that be?
Hello. Hello, Ted. Mother and Dad in?
Very much so. I'll call them.
But don't say who it is.
Okay.
Come in, John.
Mum, Dad, someone to see you.
Who is it?
Visitors.
Oh, dear.
It's simply awful. We have to sit around sunk in gloom just because white car goes off to darkest Africa.
Oh, it's like that, is it? Oh, Ted, you won't stop here, will you?
Eh? Oh, okay.
Hello, Mother. I've brought a visitor.
Well, good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Nielsen. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Dad, John and I...
John?
Yes, Mother. John has asked me to marry him.
This is in the nature of a formal request for your approval, sir.
Well, your mother and I had no idea that you'd even been meeting each other.
We've met every day. We know each other very well.
In 3 weeks?
Yes, Mother.
This is all rather a bombshell, you know.
Well, it's my fault, I'm afraid. You see, I have to go back to Norway next month, and, well, I would like to take Phyllis with me.
Norway? For how long?
My home's in Oslo. I've spent most of my life there, but my job brings me to London for about 3 months in the year.
I suppose Mr. Nielsen's told you all about himself? About his divorce?
Oh, Mother, as though a thing like that mattered in these days.
Frankly, I had no idea that divorce was so distressing for those outside the two parties concerned. It was unpleasant enough for Pauline and me.
There's no need to go into all that, John.
Believe me, Mrs. Hapgood, my first marriage couldn't have worked.
And what makes you think this one would?
Well, I'm older. But I must confess that when I first met Phyllis...
Please, John, it isn't necessary. My mother wouldn't understand.
Hadn't you better let Mr. Nielsen say what he's got to say?
I'd like to, Phil.
All right.
When I first came to this house, it was with the intention of meeting Phyllis, not to talk to you about Arthur's job. I simply used him as a means of getting to know her better.
Then what you're telling us is that you tricked your way into this house and made Arthur leave home just to...
Mother, he needn't have explained all this.
I'm glad I know. I might have been weak and stupid enough to give way against all my instincts. Billy, I don't want her to marry him. He's not the right man for her.
I'm going to marry John.
Now, hadn't we better talk this over quietly?
No, nothing will make me change my mind. I'm sorry, Mr. Nielsen, but to have cheated your way into this house as you've done...
Mother, please.
Be quiet, Phyllis.
I won't be quiet. John has been completely straightforward, and all you do is to say horrible things to him. John, I'll marry you as soon as possible.
Phil, dear, we know how you feel. When you're in love, nothing else seems to matter.
You're perfectly right. Nothing else does matter.
I see. Your father doesn't matter. I don't matter. Nothing matters except this infatuation. You're behaving like a stupid schoolgirl, and as far as I'm concerned, I'll never give my consent.
Nothing is going to stop me.
You realize what you're saying, don't you?
If it means that I'm finished with home, yes, I do.
Then there's no point in saying any more.
I'll go and put a few things together, John. I won't be a minute.
I'm sorry, sir.
Please don't say any more. Just leave it at that.
Aren't you going to do anything to stop her, Billy?
Well, you know, I can't really believe he's as bad as you think. Couldn't you make it easier for her? You'd make it easier for yourself, you know.
You heard what she said. She loves him. Nothing else matters.
Oh, Mary, my dear, go on up to her now.
I've only put a few things together. Will you please tell Myra to...
I'll tell her to send everything on to you.
Goodbye, Mother. Are you going to say goodbye, Daddy?
No, dear, not goodbye. You'll be back again, you and John. Try not to be too hurt by the things your mother said. She knows very little about him, and she loves you deeply. Always remember that, Phil. And as for me, well...
Best of luck, Phil. I know you'll be happy.
Thank you. Mother, so...
Don't worry, I'll look after her. Off you go, you two.
Don't know what you can say to her, Myra, but try to make her understand.
I will.
Bye. See you soon.
Yes. She'll understand all right, but it'll take a bit of time.
Hapgood?
Yes. No answer, thank you.
Good news.
Yes, Arthur's coming tomorrow. Isn't it thrilling?
Doesn't thrill me.
No, I didn't think it would. Love, love, the ecstasy of love, and army, the bitterness too. Try a cold bath.
Doesn't work.
It's come, Mummy. Now you can sleep happily.
Go and tell Dad. He's in the garden.
Yes. Daddy, they brought the good news from Ghent. A telegram.
From Arthur?
Yes. You see what time he gets here?
Oh, what does it matter? I shan't sleep a wink anyway.
None of us will if we've got to get his breakfast at 5:30 in the morning.
What's it say?
Here we are.
Does Ted know about Arthur?
Yes, he's not interested in him, though. He's only thinking of Dandy.
That stupid little love affair. Well, every boy goes through it. And so long as she's a nice girl.
Dandy's all right.
Dandy, what an absurd name.
She calls him Teddy Bear.
Now, Myra, dear, take these sheets up to Arthur's bed.
Right you are. Oh, if Pieface comes, will you tell him to go to Blazes?
Well, really,
Breaking a date with me.
He was to take her to tennis this afternoon.
So that's it, is it?
Oh, Billy, I can't get over it. I wonder if Arthur's changed at all. It's funny, but he's been much closer to me since he went away.
Mary,
Yes, dear?
there's something else.
No trouble, I hope.
On the contrary. Phyllis and John are back in London. They arrived last week. We all had lunch in town yesterday.
How was she?
Fine, and radiantly happy.
I'm glad.
You never told me she'd written to you.
I didn't open the letters.
You're a stubborn old... Now, listen, Mary, you've got to make up this quarrel. It's all nonsense. You're going to be a grandma.
What did you say?
You heard.
Still no pie face. That lad just doesn't know what he's in for.
What do you think? Phil and her husband are back.
I know. We've been writing.
Oh? Did she tell you she was going to have a baby?
No. And about time, too. What are you going to do about it?
There's nothing much I can do.
Oh, yes, there is. You can come with me to see them both.
No, dear.
Why can't you?
Wait until you're grown up and have children of your own, and one of them really hurts you.
That was 2 years ago. I am grown up, Mummy, and I do understand. Phil loves you. You know she does. She just fell for John, that's all. Look, Arthur's coming home. Ted and I are still here. And Phil's just longing to see you again. Oh, Mummy, what about it?
Well, dear,
Blast, that'll be pie face. I'm going to sulk. Will you tell him I'm out?
I shall do no such thing.
I'm not going to let him in. He can stay there. He's a dirty dog.
Hello, George. Come in.
Hello, Mrs. Hapgood. Is Myra...
Yes, I'm afraid she is.
Oh, Lord. Honestly, I couldn't turn up at the tennis club this afternoon.
She's upstairs. Myra, stop being childish. George is here.
I'm busy.
But he's got something to tell you. Think of something quickly.
Yes, but I have got something to tell her. Some news.
There you are, Myra. He's got some news.
It can keep.
Oh, be a sport, Myra. It's important.
Tell me from there.
Keep on like that and she'll come.
Myra,
What?
I'll explain why I wasn't there if you'll come down.
Tomorrow will do.
Oh, crikey. Myra, I'm going away.
Good idea.
There's something else.
Oh, tell me when you come back.
Myra, will you marry me?
What did you say?
Will you marry me?
Wait a minute. What is all this nonsense?
Yes, well, it's like this, you see. I've got a chance for transfer to Cape Town, and I asked them if I could take a wife. And they said they'd let me know. Then I said I wasn't sure about the wife yet, so they said, well, make sure, and then we'll let you know at this end, you see. Yes, but then if you say you'll marry me, and then they say I can't take you, I shan't go, because I love you.
Why weren't you at the tennis club this afternoon?
It's all got to do with this transfer.
You'd better start at the beginning.
The beginning is, will you marry me?
You can't come barging in here expecting an answer straight out. What's the time? 9:30. Will you marry me? Sure I will.
Oh, you will?
That was just an example.
No.
You go on talking while I think.
Well, the salary's good. It's 420. Oh, I made it pretty plain that I'd prefer to keep my present position if they wouldn't let you come with me.
Pie-face, you idiot.
No, I know what I want. I've been hanging around here for a good number of years now. I would have asked you to marry me before, only I wasn't earning enough. Besides, I haven't got a lot of sparkle. I know, I mean, I'm not...
Not worthy of me?
Yes, that's it.
Something in that.
Nobody is. Oh, I'm terrible when it comes to talking. I'm trying to tell you how I think of you. All I can say is, there's nobody in the whole world that can touch you.
I'm not a measles germ.
Gosh, you don't help much, do you? Aren't you going to say anything to get me out of this jam?
No, Pie-face. My motto is deeds, not words.
Oh, crikey. Oh, you love me, too.
I suppose I do. That kiss seems to have made all the difference.
Oh, let's have some more.
Let me get my breath back first.
All right, say when.
We ought to talk. If we do go, when would it be?
Oh, in about a month's time, if the directors agree.
That means rushing into matrimony.
That suits me.
Oh, Pie-face, what fun.
Oh, you bet. Oh, well, I say I hope your family isn't going to object.
I'll have a talk with Dad.
Oh, I ought to do that, didn't I?
You'd make a mess of it.
I expect I would.
Pieface, will your mother be sad that you're leaving home and going abroad?
Well, there were 6 of us kids. Her policy's always been, chuck 'em in and see if they can swim. You know, it's a good idea. Give me another kiss.
I don't give kisses. They're taken from me.
That's good enough.
Good afternoon, George.
Good afternoon.
I think I left my pipe.
Here it is, Billy. You left it on the rockery. Myra, dear, don't sit on the arm of the couch.
Mummy, Pieface and I want to be engaged. We just want you to say if you have any objections.
Oh, indeed, no.
We can scarcely say this is a surprise, eh, Mary? And what is your financial position, Mr. Harris?
Well, I'm afraid it's not so hot at the moment.
We don't know yet when we can be married, but we just thought we'd like you to know we were heading for it.
I'm so glad, dears.
Congratulations, George.
Oh, thank you, sir. I reckon I deserve them.
You do. A lesser man would have given up years ago.
It's not quite what I meant.
Pleased with yourself?
Yes. We're awfully in love.
Of course you are, dear.
If it weren't for his small salary, we'd like to marry quite soon.
Oh, but you'd wait a year or two, dear, surely.
What for?
You're only 18.
19 next month, Mother. Forgot your old man's car?
Yes, it's outside.
Let's go for a ride.
Well, if there's nothing else to talk about...
No, there isn't. Come on, Georgie. Bye-bye. Hello, Ted.
You know that Myra and George are engaged?
Oh? When are they going to be married?
Oh, they're still children. They won't be married for years. You'll be thinking of it yourself by then.
By then?
You aren't thinking of it now.
Why shouldn't I be thinking of it?
Well, don't say you are going to get married on your tuppence a week.
I am.
Ted, you feeling all right?
Of course I'm all right.
Dandy.
You think I'm too young to fall in love? That Dandy's a silly name for a girl and that it's a waste of time for you even to ask her here. You'd think it ridiculous for me to get married.
I think you'd better go to bed.
All right, then. I am ridiculous.
What do you mean, Ted?
I just told you. I am married. Dandy and I were married 2 weeks ago. We love each other, you see, and I knew you'd do everything you could to stop us.
Oh, Ted. And Arthur coming home tomorrow.
It'd be a darn good thing if we Europeans arranged our marriage on a purely barter basis like the native. Then there wouldn't be any of these fearful complications. On the coast, you simply pick out your better half, hand over a 5 and a cow to her family, and that ends all argument.
How toot-toot juju. Another cup of tea, Daddy.
No thanks, dear.
Are you going out tonight, Arthur?
No, I don't think I shall.
Neither are you two, so that's all right.
What's all right?
We have a visitor coming. Dandy, Ted's wife. He asked if he could bring her. He wants us so much to like her.
What about John and Phil? Mummy doesn't know they're coming.
Shall I put them off?
Afraid it's too late. Though you might try and phone. Do it from the box round the corner.
Right.
You know, the funny part about it is Mother's going to like Dandy eventually.
What's she like?
What does amenable mean? Because that's what she is. She sort of does what she's told. What are you laughing at?
Was I laughing?
Yes.
I think I'll give your mother a hand.
Come over here. Old Henshaw worked it for us. We sailed in 3 weeks. Now, come on, give me a nice big kiss. What's the matter?
There's a shock coming. You've got to go without me.
Well, go on.
Ted and Dandy are married.
Oh, Lord, but how did that stop you coming with me?
I'm worried about Mother.
What do you mean?
That's what I want you to try and understand. You're going to find it a bit of a job, I expect. Sit down, Georgie. Some people would call Mummy possessive. Perhaps she is. But you've got to realize that only one thing in the whole world matters to her. Us, the Hapgoods. She doesn't talk about anything or anybody else. And she wants to go on being the mother of a family. Do you see what I mean?
No.
Oh, I'm putting it badly. I can't turn round to her and say, I know you're very fond of me. I know I'm the last link with all you've lived for the past 30-odd years, but nuts to that, I'm off. For one thing, I happen to love her, too.
Arthur and Phil went. Were they wrong?
I'm the last one, Pieface. She's going to need me so badly. I'm the only one who can help her. I'm so sorry for her.
Myra, what about me?
In some strange sort of way, I've come to love you even more since I decided not to go with you. Do you think it was easy for me to tell you, Georgie?
How long must I wait?
Probably until you come home again.
3 years. Oh, I love you so much, Myra.
Please don't make it difficult for me.
All right, I'll wait. What would you say if I refused this job and stayed at home near you?
Listen to me, George Harris. I'm not marrying anybody without guts. Perhaps you better go now, darling. We've got 3 weeks together.
Hello, George.
Oh, hello, sir.
What's the matter with him?
His firm have offered him a grand job in Cape Town.
Why should that upset him?
We can't be married till he gets back. 3 years.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's a rule the firm has. He's too young to take a wife with him. He argued with his directors, but they refused to play.
Pieface! How nice to see you after all this time. You remember John?
Oh, yes, of course.
Hello. Glad to see you again.
You're looking very well, Phil.
You're not. What's the matter?
Nothing much.
Come on, George. Is it to do with Myra?
Well,
Now, I want you all to be as nice as you can to Dandy. This isn't going to be very easy for her.
It won't be exactly easy for Ted.
Oh, I don't know. He'll get over it. I remember I had a similar experience with one of my boys.
Did you now? That's very interesting.
Myra, answer the door, darling, while I draw the curtains.
Hello. Welcome home, both of you. They're in the dining room. Go on in.
Billy, I've been thinking you ought to go round to Reynolds, the estate agents for Ted. Ask him for a list of flats round here. Will you, Billy? Billy? Phil.
Hello, Mother.
Oh, Phil.
Mother, John?
Oh, yes, of course.
Hello, Mr. Hapgood. Don't you think Phil's looking well?
Yes, John. Happier than I'd ever dreamed I could be.
Welcome back to the family kraal, Phyllis.
Arthur.
Well, I like your moustache.
I kiss you, don't I?
It's practically a duty.
You still smell nice.
Hello, John. Nice to see you again.
Thanks, old boy. You're looking fit. You had a good tour?
Magnificent. How can I get the drinks?
Oh, it's good to be back. Everything just the same. You still got the old clock, Daddy. Haven't you knocked it into shape yet?
No, it now strikes 16 to the dozen. No, it's good to have you back, isn't it, Mary?
Yes, dear. We'll go upstairs together soon and have a long, long chat.
I'd love that.
Well, what about me? I know. We'll have a long chat, eh, Mr. Hapgood? And just for a start, perhaps you can explain, as an old hand at this father business, just why I should be feeling so physically uncomfortable.
Oh, they say it's all quite natural, although it sounds a bit premature in your case.
Well, of course, I think we're going to have twins. Phil's going to have one, I'm going to have the other.
Mary, my dear, what is this?
I don't know, dear. It had port style on the label.
What's the toast, Dad?
Well, here's to...
Billy, we forgot.
Mother, this is Dandy.
How do you do, Dandy? I'm so glad Ted brought you.
Dad, this is... Hello, Phil. Hello, John.
Hello, Ted. You and Daddy just in time for a drink.
2 more drinks, Arthur. Dad was just going to make a speech. You've saved us.
Well, how do you do, Dandy? Eh? Have you got any other name?
My real name's Genevieve. It's only Teddy Bear calls me Dandy.
2 port styles coming up. Now, what about this toast? Here's to us all, eh? Mary, my love, to all of us.
Oh, not forgetting old George.
Of course, Pie-Face, George Job Harris.
Good old pie-face. Speech, Mara.
I can't make speeches.
Oh, yes, now you try.
It's so silly to make a speech about Pie-Face. You all know him. You know he's all right. I said I couldn't make a speech.
Let's simply say good old pie-face and leave it at that, shall we? I don't think Myra's in the mood for speeches tonight.
There's nothing wrong, is there?
I think we'd better tell them, Myra. Well, there's been a bit of a disappointment, that's all. George has got to go abroad for his firm, so he and Myra can't get married for 3 years, till he comes back. It's bad luck, isn't it?
Tell you all about it later. Let's talk about something cheerful now, shall we?
It appears his directors are not very helpful. They've refused to waive the rule about wives.
Please, Dad, some other time.
But you haven't got it quite right, Myra. Has she, John?
Phil and I met George at the gate. He looked as though he'd just had a whipping. We had to ask him what was wrong. Myra's not telling the truth. His directors are willing to play. It was she who said no.
Why? Because she's the last of us, Mother. And she thought it would be unfair to you to be left alone.
Myra, darling, is this true?
Oh, Mummy,
No, you are a silly little goose. Your father and I won't be alone. Now, run after George at once and tell him that you'll marry him. As soon as possible.
You won't have to run far, Myra. Just tap on the window. George is outside.
Did you want me?
Billy, you must come and help me.
Help you? What?
To get the children's supper.
Children's supper?
We think we found a flat.
Good. Where about?
Well, you know Lister Road?
Yes.
Well, it's not there.
Yes, very true.
Georgie, you really must keep that quiff down.
Would any of you children care to assist in getting supper?
You remember, son?
Yes, what's happened to him now? What's he doing?
Oh, the old boy's doing pretty well.
Oh, well, I hadn't much hope.